Welcome to the podcast that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron.
Peterson?
Oh, shit.
I'm just Aaron. You'll know me.
Figure it out.
Like, share.
Do some detective work. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zach Parkerson with the Channel 6 News.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which then uses a springboard for a spirited and lighthearted discussion, whatever the moral or theme of their story was. We were not here last week due to holiday week. We took the week off.
You went through that so fast. You're like, I don't even want to say this.
No, I did want to say it. But I say it every week. I'm sure if unless you're a new listener, you probably heard this
also,
before.
shouldn't the story be is because they're listening to it in the present?
But the discussion happens after the story. So that's was.
But anyway, if you're wondering, if you're listening to this later, it was Memorial Day last week. That's what we're referencing. I'm sure Aaron ate hot dogs or something.
Yeah, celebrated. Well, not celebrated. I don't like to, that's the wrong way. I hate when people say Happy Memorial Day because it's not meant to be happy. It's meant to celebrate the honor the dead.
Melancholic Memorial Day to you.
Right on, man. I don't like big words because then I got to think. I don't have time for that nonsense.
Sorry. Somber Memorial Day to you.
Well, good thing for you because I'm telling a story this week, so you don't have to think super hard. Yay!
Is it sad?
No, she's telling it. There's probably nothing to it.
Yeah.
Simple.
Wow.
It is. They're usually simple. There's not like any twists in it.
It's a simple Jack story.
Are you guys ready for my story?
I mean, I feel like, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on, let me check. Yep, nipples are good to go.
Nipples?
Due south.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay. Time for my story.
Are you uncomfortable yet?
I've been uncomfortable.
Seem a little uncomfortable. I'm just being honest. So?
I don't need that much honesty from you.
You haven't seen my nipples. You don't know how excited they are.
Let's go.
Are they hairy?
Let's go. Yeah.
No, I trim.
Desmond has spent his entire life finding a way to get by. His adoptive parents died within a year of each other when he was 17 years old, but wasn't adopted until he was 12. Still, those were the years of his life that meant the most. These losses caused extreme devastation. He hit the streets, got in with the wrong crowd, which got him into trouble with the law a couple of times, getting out with warnings given his tumultuous past. His closest friend from childhood, Joe, also fell into the wrong crowd, but he didn't get the warnings. Joe's cyclical incarcerations led to a drug problem, which ultimately ended his life. Desmond found him 2 days later, dead from an overdose. After resistance to assistance, Desmond finally held his hand out for help. He gained a support system, and they helped find him a decent-paying job working in a rehabilitation center. The irony. He began taking on more hours because it gave him more time to talk with the clients and learn he wasn't the only one struggling with life. These efforts led him to the realization that he wanted to go to school so he could counsel them into safety. He went through a couple accelerated programs and had his master's in 4.5 years. When he finished school, he already had plans in place to open his own facility. 2 years into it, he's saved 378 lives from addiction and poverty and has been commended by his city and state for hard work. He's become nationally renowned, written books, spoken on television broadcasts, and has received a ton of fame from this success. His wealth and success has spread into personal avenues of his life, and his friends and employees have noticed a shift in his demeanor. He seems to be engrossed in the celebrity of his success now, rather than the work he originally sought out to. While the number of people he's serving has increased, the number of employees have not. They've become overwhelmed, and he doesn't address this. He says there's not enough profit to warrant adding more workers. One day, 2 individuals walk into the main facility requesting to speak with Desmond. As he's requested that all walk-ins and calls be held, the secretary declines, saying he's in an appointment. They offer to wait, and she makes more excuses. With this pushback, the 2 elect to tell the secretary why they're seeking his time. They believe him to be their biological son. The secretary walks into Desmond's office to inform him, and when she returns, she replies, "I'm sorry, Mr. Kleesman is unavailable. Can I take a message?" End of story.
Oh, so he's got a kid that just popped up? And he's
he's the kid. He was adopted, and now his biological parents are coming around after he's being known like through the media for his success
Gotcha.
as he got older.
Resistance to assistance.
I got hooked on the rhyme. I started doing a rap song in my head, like mid-story.
Maybe you guys
pretty good.
can finish out the episode with your own little rap.
I don't have time to rhyme.
When your story ended, all I could hear was Maury saying, and the fraternity test said, "You are
God,
not."
do you ever watch those like collection clips where they have like a bunch of them together? Those are my favorite things in the whole wide world to watch, because it's just like, oh, look at them, so happy when they find out their kids ain't not theirs. They're so excited.
Yes, I was gonna say, I love how excited they get. They're like, "Wait, I'm off the hook."
Nobody thinks about that poor kid. It's like, oh man, who's my daddy? Well, they're just bouncing off the couch left and right. Yay!
Probably that dude's brother. So,
Ba-dum-bum. Psh, true.
lie detector said that was a lie.
Well, what do you guys think the moral?
Wait, let's talk about Maury Povich for a little bit more.
I love the Maury show. It's great.
At some point, I remember he used to be a hard-hitting news journalist, and then he started doing this show, and he wanted to get to he wanted to be Oprah, a male Oprah, Mopra, and then midway through, he's just like, well, the only thing people tune in for are these paternity tests and lie detector tests. Guess I'm going to do that all the time.
For years.
He's apparently quite financially savvy, has invested very well, and has made quite a bit of money off of, he turned that Maury money into way more money.
Wow.
Mo money.
What a success story. Thanks for sharing, Zach.
We tied it in.
I know. Absolutely. Yes, exactly. It all ties. Is this story about Maury Povich?
Maybe it is.
That's great.
What?
Maury's story.
What do you think the moral of my story is?
Oh, we didn't really listen to the story. Like we said, resistance is assistance, and it's kind of where we stopped.
Yeah.
That was like the third paragraph, guys.
It was catchy.
It was the best paragraph. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
People always want a handout.
I was wondering if anyone was going to go that way. Money changes people.
Yeah, it changed everybody in that situation. But I can't say I blame him. I wouldn't want to see him either.
Well,
you said it like it made him a douche, and it doesn't make him a douche. It makes them, they're douches. They just show, oh yeah, by the way, you were my kid, we get rid of you, but you're rich now, so let's hang out.
Well, that's one of my questions. Do you guys actually think that his parents came back because he received money, or do you think maybe they were just in a better part of their lives where they were like, he's not a child anymore, I don't have to take care of him, but I would like to be able to have that connection with him? Because we don't know their backstory.
I'm going to let the Batman level cynic take this one.
It's all about the money.
Okay.
Open and shut case.
I mean, really, they didn't care the whole time he was growing up, the whole time he was having problems, the whole time, but suddenly he's on TV, and then they show up, oh, look, I love you so much. Aw.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a very slim possibility that they lost track of him in the system, and he got famous, so they recognized him, but even if that was so, they're after that money.
My grandpappy told me when I was a little kid that, and I'm probably going to mess it up because I wasn't really paying attention.
Resistance is assistance.
No, love and family is when people help you when it's against their best interests.
Interesting. I suck at this family thing. No, I'm just kidding.
When it's not easy, basically.
Well, what would you guys do if you were adopted and you lived a super shitty life, and then your bio parents came strolling back in right when you reached fame?
Exactly the same thing he did.
I'm not available? Take a message?
I wouldn't care. Yep.
Oh, man, I would let him in, and I would be vindictive.
Like, you need a job? We could use a janitor.
Yeah, you take the trash out, I guess, Gramps. I don't know what to tell you. Hey, look, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out, okay?
Wow. You guys are really feisty about this.
Actually, I retract my statement because I felt like that was offensive to janitors because it's a hard job and they do a hard job.
It is a hard job.
I would make up a job that is worse than anything they can imagine and then offer that to them, but I wouldn't have any relationship.
Also, I think they go by custodians rather than janitors.
Okay, well, cool.
I'm not playing that game.
We're not doing the name game here. There's no reason to be close to them. Why? I mean, you haven't had a relationship, and I'm guessing he's, 30s maybe? I don't know what his age is at this point in your story. But why? I don't see a point. I've already got money and fame and success, and money does buy happiness, contrary to what people say.
It's funny. The older people get, the more they say that money can buy you happiness.
It does, and that's why they're all retired in Florida. All of them.
I'll never forget my grandma when I was a kid. Zach, they say money can't buy you happiness, but it really can. I'll never forget it. But yeah, because they put in like a heater on their swimming pool or something. It was pretty dope.
That's the happiness I need in my life. I need that.
Moral of the story, money can buy you happiness.
Every single thing that you want to do costs money. Unless you're one of those people, I just like to sit and think.
Not banging.
I disagree.
Condoms?
I disagree. Dating is not cheap. And nor is it free.
Condoms are a waste of money. Yeah, well, you know what? I guess, once you lock it down.
You got to pay for that. You got to pay to lock it down.
No. Yeah,
Make
you're
them
doing it wrong.
Absolutely. You're living in the past, Amanda. I let a strong, independent woman take care of me.
The tables have turned.
Sugar mama is back.
I am not getting married.
Well, it has nothing to do with this. That's not why you're not getting married.
Wow.
Oh,
Unnecessary.
Oh,
Man,
sorry. Was that out loud? I hate when that
You
happens.
do this a lot.
I know. I got to start thinking internally.
You do. Well, why do you guys think money changes people? What is it about that people become greedy?
Because money is awesome. Done.
But I mean, why does it need to change your personality?
Because you start to forget what it's like to struggle.
Huh.
So you start to forget, like what it's like to be the guy who has to work a double, or one night you get up the next and like you're just sitting on your pile of money. You're like, oh, what's so hard about that? I did that. But you're not remembering the perspective of being in the moment.
It depends on how you grew up. I really believe that. I firmly believe the more you grew up and struggled and made it by on your own, the less it's going to change who you are. If you grew up entitled or you grew up spoiled, you're already kind of corruptible. And once you get that extra ego and the extra power and because money you get power through money.
Right.
The more money you have, the more power you're going to have, whether people want to admit that or not, but it's true, unfortunately. And it depends on how you were raised and how you respond to it. I've had moments of where I've had a lot more money than I ever dreamed I would get in certain points in my life, and it's how you
Show off.
I respected those moments, and I tried to do good works with it instead
By
of
going to Hawaii? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you don't treat yourself, but you also take care of the people that took care of
Right.
you, that kind of thing. I don't think everybody would be like that. It's a personal thing. It's your personal trait. Some people see the glory and they see the excitement and all the fun that comes with it, and they just buy into their own lie.
Well, and I think that people who go through a lot of ups and downs in their childhood growing up and do live in poverty, when they finally do reach that money, it can be something like, I'm never letting go of this. I'm never going back to where I was before. So they can become different and changed because of the money. I agree with you that the majority of them do seem to handle having money a lot better, and it doesn't change their personality as much. But
And how old you are when you come into it.
that too.
Yeah.
And in this case, he's pretty young. I mean, he's in his mid-20s, late 20s.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty responsible, but you hit me at 18 with like $5 million. At 19, I don't have $5 million.
You don't have $5.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm burning through that.
That's a fair point.
He lived next to a pizza place, and the waitress there won the lottery, and then a year later was back there working.
Seriously?
How much was the lottery? Was it like $180?
I don't know. It was a lot.
It was enough
It
to
was
quit
millions.
the McDonald's. That's more than $180 or pizza. Sorry,
Pizza.
It's more. I'm stuck
Pizza.
at McDonald's where I was just talking about.
I mean, she was pretty honest. She was just like, I was dumb and I spent it ever.
So she won millions and she ended up back at the pizza place?
Yep. Yeah, she took her like on vacation for the full year to a bunch of expensive places, and then she also said that like family was hitting up for money and she didn't say no, when she should have. But
Wow.
yeah,
So she was.
that's the number one rule of getting money: don't loan it to your family.
Don't loan it to anyone where you expect it back. Cover your bases. You know what I mean? If you can't afford to be without it, don't loan it out. That should be your rule for. I don't care if you have
Yeah.
22,000 or 200,000, whatever it is.
True that.
Man of wisdom, Aaron Peterson.
Yeah.
Explains the gray hair.
Don't worry, I can correct that.
It's turning white.
It'll be taken care of.
Well, what if you guys came into money? Do you think there's any situation that could make you buy into the celebrity life? Like, how would you handle the money as an adult now if you came into let's say that it had to do with your hobby, like something that you're super passionate about. You guys wouldn't want to be actors, but Zach would probably want to be a game journalist.
I would be an actor.
You would be an actor?
Sure.
Okay.
Character actor. I don't have the looks for a regular actor.
Okay. But if you went into
if
acting,
you're looking for an angry man, I could do that.
or as a director.
Yeah, or as a director, screenwriter.
You could be the guy on Law and Order who's like, yeah, Jimmy used to work here on the weekends. But he come around in a few weeks.
His would definitely be with some sort of accent or
That's a character
impersonation.
actor.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
You could be the ADR guy for Stallone.
Hey, you.
You do all the lines.
Let's run this slide. Let's do this right now. Let's run these slides. Hey, yo. Hey, this is pretty good. You know, I like when you do that. It's pretty good. Let's run my first line is the.
What's funny is that like people who know his Sly impression are now hearing it when they go on travels. I actually had someone send me a video and they're like, this sounds like Aaron. And it was the announcer on their ship.
Yeah.
And it did sound like Aaron Sly. It was pretty crazy.
So now the person hears Aaron and not Sylvester Stallone. So I am taking over his life. Yeah.
That's pretty good time.
Yeah, you're working on the old Statham too. If you could ever kick anyone in the face, you might have a run for it.
You don't know what I do in my free
money
time.
was the question. Well,
basically, what would you...
is this a podcast? What are you talking about?
What are we doing?
It's
if
not
you
the
guys
tumor.
came into a bunch of money and it came through a hobby, like or something you're passionate about, so whatever that may be.
People just started worshiping me and like fans.
You had fans,
women.
Access to cars if you care about that, big houses, movie theaters in your house, pools, giant pools.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have a car. I'd have people drive me. So I could have Crevassier in the car.
But you have this lavish lifestyle. Do you think at any point your personality would change, or would you not even buy into that lavish lifestyle?
Oh man, first thing I do, call my mom and say, "You're out," and then I go on vacation.
Wow.
Like you're taking her out?
Okay.
No, you're out. We're cutting you out. All the family's out. You're done. And there's just me now. And you get divorced before the check clears, so you don't have to split that. And then, right?
Smart.
No, I don't think it changed me at all. I'm not going to say I wouldn't enjoy the celebrity, and I'd probably use that to its full advantage and go to every party and everything else. And, you know, I've had some experiences because of the podcast thing where people come up to you, and I'm not going to lie, that's kind of a cool feeling. But, well, I'll tell you this. Okay, I'll tell you this quick story, right? Because this goes into it.
Sure.
And I'm a very, very mellow, down-to-earth guy. Very, very down-to-earth.
You're an old man, yeah.
Or just mellow and down-to-earth. But if you want to make it ageist...
Is this your Jamie Lannister story?
Yeah, that is a good story. It's for another time. Went out to L.A. because we were up, me and Troy Heinrichs for the Blacklist Exposed were up for a podcast award. So we went to L.A. We actually we toured the Paramount lot. We toured, we hung out with the writers. And then we went and we won the award for TV and film podcast at the Podcast Movement. So for like a day and a half, we were basically treated like royalty, right? Now, I always say I can't understand how anybody like lets this stuff go to their head. I mean, it's just, you shouldn't be any different. Money and fame shouldn't change you. But I was there a day and a half. And after a day and a half, when I got home, I called my best friend up and I'm like, hey, check this out, man. I won this award and we did all this stuff. And first thing he said, stop being a dick. That was the first thing he said.
Ooh.
And then my immediate response was, I'm Aaron Peterson. Because it was like a day and a half high. And so now like that whole less than 48 hours, I completely understood how it can corrupt your mind if you're not prepared for it, if you're not grounded, because all that adoration, and it's fake adoration. I mean, it's just people being nice to you because you're on a high at that moment. If you hear that, if all you hear is great things, all you're going to start thinking is great things. You don't hear the negative anymore. You need to hear that. You need to have a voice in your life that's going to be negative. That's going to, or not negative, but keeps you grounded, will remind you ain't that special. You did some cool stuff. That's awesome. You're not Superman. Come down to earth. Relax. So if you have the right people in your life, it's not going to corrupt you. But if you don't have that support system, I think it's easy to take off. That's my answer. My long answer. And
is that why you start the podcast with I'm Aaron Peterson?
No, it's me. I'm me. No, it's...
That'd be awesome. We just started the podcast. It's me.
That's it.
and never say my name. And then people are like, hey, who's the first guy? That's him.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him.
I like that. What do you? No, I think names are important. We don't need a bio, but it's nice to know who you're listening to. And I can't stand when people use stage names on podcasts. It's just weird to me.
It's me, Zadie Zach.
Yep, I'm Dr. X, and we're coming for you. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Dr. X?
People use weird names that aren't theirs.
That sounds sexy. It's me, Dr. X, coming in at you.
Could you be corrupted?
Right. Well, I was going to jump in a little bit off of what you said. If the money comes from your own success, like if I could do anything in the entire world, it would probably be write comic books. And if you get rich off of your own success, I think that comes with an unintentional hubris, because you're going to be, if you're making money and you're successful, that means that you're doing it well. And that comes with the critics are going to be like, oh my God, like he's writing a hell of a book. The fans are going to be like, I love what he's doing with the character. Like it's going to seep into your head to eventually be like, you know what? I'm good at this. And so whether intentional or not, or just subconsciously, you're going to start to get a little bit of an ego on you at the very least. You're eventually going to start thinking like, well, I mean, I've been telling stories right so far. So, I mean, this guy's telling me this is a bad call, but what does he know? I've got awards. He does not,
Ooh.
Yeah. If money comes from your own success, you're going to get a little bit of an ego on you.
That's a good way to look at it.
It is.
What do you think, man? Would you change?
The first negative comment I got would humble my ass all the way down to hell. Like I would not be, I would take that way more to heart than I probably would any like positive comments. But I would ruin my life with all the money I spend. I would not be financially responsible. I would have to hire like a financial advisor and pay them to make sure I don't spend my money on stupid stuff.
Define stupid.
Stuff that I don't need. Like I still think
you don't need most of what you have.
That's true.
Yeah, you got the money to spend. Why wouldn't you spend it?
Because I still think that I would probably spend my free time doing stuff that's more charity wise, but I think my money, I'd still be like, oh, I want this, or oh, I'm going to order that, or hello, Amazon. And it would just be a lot of bad purchase decisions because I have the money. Like I don't see the end. Like I'm like, oh, this is just going to keep coming in. I don't have any problems. So why do I need to put money on reserve when it's endless at this, from what I'm seeing? Like, I think that's the part that would get to me more so than the celebrity itself is like, I would feed into the concept that my money is infinite. And it's definitely not. At some point,
you can't count. That's the problem.
Well, no, I can count, but I just wouldn't. I would think that, like, okay, I'm getting this. I'm just going to keep getting this. I wouldn't consider, I would consider the end of like when I stop getting that money, when I stop becoming something that people fawn over and spend all their money for whatever product or thing that I'm doing that's creating this success.
So yeah, I wouldn't have that problem at all.
I would.
Yeah. Sounds like a real problem.
I would hire an advisor, like a financial advisor for sure.
My going out to dinner budget would definitely increase quite a bit. Because I'm not going to slum it at Mickey D's if I can go to the Japanese steakhouse in town.
I don't know. I'd still go to Subway and I'd be like, no, give me the footlong. I'm splurging today.
Do you not get a footlong normally?
Well, how big do I need to be? No, I'm not.
I don't know. Isn't it $5?
No.
The real question is, who's eating at Subway?
Quiznos is what's up.
Well, there's no
Quiznos is still in business, apparently.
Some places, yeah.
Nowhere near here.
I got a Wingstop, and if I'm rich, I'll get 12 wings instead of 8. Yeah.
Can you bring those out with fries? Well, that's $4 more. You know what? We don't need no fries tonight.
I'm Zach Parkerson. I'll take the fries.
With the side of ranch.
Give me that cheese on there.
Nobody cares about this scenario. So what else you got?
That was 3 questions.
Oh.
I asked you 3 questions. You guys answered 3 questions. Yeah.
And we got them all right, so we're shooting for an A+.
Woohoo!
Mario is back.
Yes, me. So what's the story of truth or fiction? That's a Dracula.
Isn't that what I ask?
Yeah, well, you're not doing it.
But I thought you had to ask me the story title first. I don't remember the order anymore.
You do. Is the story truth or fiction? Then we'll ask you the title.
Oh, okay.
Is your first smirk?
It's been a minute. What was that necessary?
That was my Amanda impression.
We took that week off.
Terrible. Well, what do you think? Is my story truth or fiction?
Truth.
Truth.
Fiction.
Ah, you liar.
I picked the name from Assassin's Creed.
Well, that's actually my first thing I thought when you said
Really?
Yeah, me too. Desmond, right?
Yeah.
Me too, man.
I almost put his last name as like Mr. Miles, and then I was like, oh no, they're gonna get that way too soon.
What's your title then?
The title of my story is Social Ascent.
That means going up.
Yep.
Zach, going upward.
Yeah, no, I
Moving
understand.
on up.
Trying to relate it to Assassin's Creed.
That's a trajectory.
Well, I was going to
North.
do rags to riches, but then I was like, oh, well, that gives it away way too easy.
Let's do Annie. Just call it Annie.
Requiescat in pace.
What?
Is that a game thing?
That's what Ezio Auditore says after his assassinations in
Okay.
Assassin's Creed 2.
I'll take bread with my pizza.
If Roger Craig Smith is listening, he'll understand.
Well, you know what? We've only got 2 more episodes after this bad boy, but as our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. Future episodes, you can still send them in, even when we're on hiatus. So if you'd like the chance to have yours ready, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. It's mystory@smirkpodcast.com. And hopefully, in the meantime, while we're on our break, we still got a couple more left, but while we're on our break, that would be cool if we got rich.
Yes.
Would you come back and do Smirk if you end up winning the lottery, like $10 million? Do you still do Smirk, or do you?
Well, yeah, I would be able to quit my job and I have a lot more free time.
I'd have so much more time. I'll be editing every episode of Smirk.
What?
What just happened?
You got it on record. We need to make him rich.
Yes, if that's the price I have to pay, I'm willing.
But you can't hire an editor. You have to do it all yourself.
Sure, I'm not going to waste my millions on some editor.
I don't know if you really fully appreciate how many birds you have living behind you that you have to try to
And
silence.
lawnmowers and neighbors.
Well, I mean, it's tornado season, so hopefully the birds just die out.
Wow.
There was a mile-wide tornado in a town just southwest of me.
Really? Did you run
yeah,
out? Are you one of those people where you ran out, or did you stay inside?
I will tell you, 100% of people when the tornado sirens go off step outside. I don't know anybody who didn't.
But did you also go? Were you a follower? Were you a sheep?
Did I step outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I stepped out on my back porch. I was like, let me check this out.
Those can't mean anything. That's not serious. Must be a
No,
dinner bell.
you go out there, you look at the clouds, you're like, cloud looks fine to me. And you go back inside and do exactly what you're doing.
Also, because of your
that giant wide spinning cloud looks fine. Cow.
Oh, yeah. It didn't hit me. I'm still alive, still kicking. I feel bad for the people in Lawrence, Missouri.
If there was a tornado right now, would you stop the podcast or would you just stay where you're at?
Like if the sirens went off,
Yep.
I would pause the podcast. I would step outside. I'd look at the clouds, like, man, it looks fun to me, and come right back in.
Okay, well, join the conversation by joining our Facebook group before Zach is lifted into the next universe, I guess? Alternate universe?
Into
There
Twister.
we go.
No.
It's a rainbow inside the tornado, right? Isn't that what Twister was?
Was
Wasn't
it
it like super beautiful inside of the tornado?
All I remember is that apparently they found the one bar that as long as they wrapped their belt around it, they could withstand the pressure of a tornado.
Oh, man. Philip Seymour Hoffman was in that movie.
And so was Bill Peck. The Extreme!
It was a good movie.
So you know it was art.
We're on a tangent.
Anyway, continue.
Yes,
Is that
Helen Hunt. Or follow us on Twitter. I forgot what we were talking about. At Smirk Podcast. Be sure to use the show's hashtag Smirk. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to subscribe to Smirk and the podcast. Have a choice. Please give us a review if you like the show. Or if you like randomness, because that's what this episode was. Just random as hell.
You know what, Aaron? People like tangents. Everybody weigh in on Twitter at Smirk Podcast. Let us know if you like the movie Twister.
That is very important.
That's quite deviated from the actual story, but that's okay.
Let's be honest, though. If you don't like Twister, do we want them to listen? I don't know what the rules are, but Twister is a classic.
We'll take the download, but let's not know that you don't like Twister.
Classic? That's like saying the movie Bats is a classic.
What movie?
Bats? Nobody saw Bats?
No!
Yeah, we saw it, but is that like the Lou Diamond Phillips movie?
For sure, right? It was like birds, but with bats.
Yeah, how is that comparable to Twister, which made like hundreds of millions of dollars and
Please
people still
don't.
talk about? Nobody's talking about bats.
I'm pretty sure I watched both these movies on VHS at the same night. And I definitely like Bats more.
Well, just because your Blockbuster had it in stock doesn't mean that it's a classic.
I own the VHS. It was in the slipcase.
100% certain. Even Lou Diamond Phillips does not watch Bats, and he's watching
Lou Diamond
Twister.
Phillips and I were both born on February 17th, so we're bros.
Is that why you watch Bats? You're like, I found the one guy who's born on my birthday. Yay.
You know, Ed Sheeran and I were born on the same exact day.
Really? Oh my God, he's so much cooler than you.
Every woman, when I tell them that, has that reaction.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Hey, I made eye contact with that man. We were going to get together, and then he got married, and I'm
pretty
still
sure
upset.
we've made eye contact as well. About, like, is Ed Sheeran really he's got those good of eyes?
I mean, isn't he kind of just eye humping everybody in the audience?
I was front row. So. He laughed at me. Okay.
Yeah, that feels like he's not going to be marrying you. We don't laugh at the ones we love.
Not typically.
Exactly. And by the way, is it sad that I'm more excited about Lou Diamond Phillips being mentioned than I am Ed Sheeran?
Lou Diamond Phillips, absolutely. If Lou Diamond Phillips listened to this show, I would consider it a victory. I would say that it feels good to me as being rich. Especially because he'd have to get to the very end to even hear his name mentioned.
Well, as you write your own life story.
Hey, wait a minute. We're talking about Lou Diamond Phillips. That dude.
Yeah, we're done. It's my story.
He's got a great career that nobody talks about. Young Guns 2, one of the most unheralded. It's one of the most unrespected Westerns of all time. It's an all-time classic. Young Guns 2. Go watch it. Are you falling asleep on me?
No.
You young people.
No, Lou Diamond Phillips is he is an underrated, underrespected actor. He's an icon that deserves the respect he's warranted.
I'll tell you this. I watched La Bamba. I like him more than I like Richie Valens. Is that wrong to say?
The hell is La Bamba?
You've seen Bats, but not La Bamba?
I've never even heard of La Bamba.
So in the arvoir of Lou Diamond Phillips movies, you haven't seen his most famous role. Good job, fan.
I've seen Young Guns 1 and 2.
Okay. Well, as long as you saw Young Guns 2 in particular. That's a great movie.
Yeah, you never shut up about Young Guns 2, man.
Oh, sorry, man. You want to take us out? We could probably end this now.
Oh, thank
Lou
you
Diamond Phillips.
So kindly.
Thanks for joining the Lou Diamond Phillips podcast, Diamonds in the Rough, and we'll see you next week.
On Smirk Podcast. As you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a Lou Diamond Phillips smirk.
That's what?
I tried to incorporate your...
You didn't. That's not trying.
Now we're giving him too much. Now we're giving Lou Diamond Phillips too much credit.
Oh, okay. It was fine when you guys were doing it.
No, he smiles.
As you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk.
There you go. I'm going to go back to drawing this picture of Lou Diamond Phillips.
Well, La Bamba's not even listed on like his first 12 movies on IMDb. You're out of your mind.
It's like one of his first movies. That's why. Go back.
When you pull up an actor, it says best known for, and they give you 4 movies. That La Bamba is not listed.
Well, then they're drunk because he's definitely...
No one knows what this movie is. Lou Diamond Phillips doesn't know what this movie is.
Richie Valens is one of the most famous rock stars, and that movie is what launched his career. So La Bamba is a very important role in Lou Diamond Phillips' career.
I stopped listening to you guys. I was on Reddit.
This is very important. Are you on Reddit during a podcast? This is very important.
I ended the podcast if you don't remember.
We love you, Lou.
How do you even spell La Bamba?
L-Bamba. La Bamba.
There's La with a space and Bamba.
I would have
Sorry,
been like La Bamba. Oh, La Bamba.
Yeah, it's not like bomb.
Were you looking for La Bomb? Your Google history is going to get you in trouble.
Well, it already was. I'm really disappointed that I haven't seen this Richie Valens movie that you're so excited about.
It's a really good movie.
Hey, you want to know something else?
What?
Who the f*** is Richie Valens?